Internet, what is up? Welcome back to the Type QQ channel as we continue on with our Maidens of a Hollow Dream. We could start off at stage 3, but we're going to start off at stage 1 again. A little annoyed by this text on the bottom that just doesn't want to go away. I'm not sure if we have to go in the options and just put an end to it, because it is kind of, it does fucking just kind of cover a good percentage of that bottom of the screen. Just kind of like, I get it, shoot things and kill it. But yeah, we got another run, trying to go for that sort of 1cc, at least in this normal mode, which I think is completely doable. Didn't necessarily get it this time, but we are just piecing it together. And there is a sort of progression system as well. You know, I think the more we play, the stronger our teamwork is going to be between our two characters here. And I think eventually we'll get it together. I mean, certainly, I think our biggest flaw is our strategy. There are, well, as we take damage right there as part of it, but it's common knowledge, or at least it's sort of, Hollow Dream, Maidens of a Hollow Dream, basic 101 of how to score with your support character, as we can see right here with this aura, and then killing it up with the aura to get those green crystals for our special attack. Using a full special attack using 3 full meters, we'll heal our character. And I guess when you're talking about full heals and stuff like that, that's going to materialize in a sort of 1cc that we really want. Those are the extends that we kind of clamor on about in other games. But I haven't really found the comfort to do it quite yet. I'm using my support character, really just as that, to kind of get me through walls, and for missiles, really not much else. And I think, if we come to a point where we're bashing our head against the proverbial wall too many times doing it this way, I think the game is not so subtly nudging us to going, hey, you're playing the game wrong, you asshole, get it together. But, despite the fact, I think I've spoke about this in the previous video, despite the fact that nobody in this game has a pair of pants on, this game is very fun. Certainly not perfect, and probably certainly not, I don't know quite what the word to say. I don't want to say, good, I want to say emphasis over, this game is super fun, and it may not be the most polished game ever. Maybe not the best design, maybe not the most encompassing options menu, but once you get it going, and certainly the audio track that kind of loops here as well. But the skeleton of the game is really enjoyable and really fun, and that's what's really driving me to continue playing this video smut for the internet. So if it wasn't explained in the first video, there's essentially 2 bosses per level, and that sort of bird dragon-like character was the first. The first of the first level, so we are expecting another one before we continue on. But yeah, like I said in the previous video, I really like how there's a giant amount of space to move. And not just, in the screen with, sidebars or whatever, but this sort of sprawling, the sprawling vertical lane where you can kind of, take the game 2 or 3 screens higher. I mean, we are picking up green crystals while not using our support character, so I'm not sure exactly what's proccing that. Oh, that was foolish as hell, just ramming ourselves into bullets. Now, there's, to my knowledge, to what I found, I'm not finding a sort of focus button, so you know, where you can kind of move slower and kind of weave between bullets. Like you this main character here has this sort of built-in speed, and that's it, you know. So it could get tricky. I think one of the biggest things to worry about when it comes to this game is the collision detection with these sort of walls and ceilings and floors. I'm not so sure we'll have a very good, you know, example of it this run, but I have noticed you do get like this sort of bounce. I mean, you're kind of seeing it there a little bit too, as we take the world's slowest crawl across that sort of gap. Oh, getting really clumsy and really stupid here. And just crossing over. Still very kind of rusty with using our team. You know, I think they stick together when you fire, and you can position them how you like when you're not firing. So it's, you know, it is a sort of weird yo-yo system that you can kind of get the hang of if you're, you know, as long as you're not attacking things. So not the hardest boss here at the end of level 1. Just sort of destroying all its parts, and then, yeah, and there goes that. Stage 2. I mean, what we want to do from the last run is we kind of don't want to be so claustrophobic. You know, this is a sort of highly cave area, a lot of enemies that kind of ambush you and stuff. So we certainly want to kind of hang back when we can, like these moles here. They sort of burst out of the ground underneath you and then shoot bullets. So we do want to, you know, there's limited space, so we got to make sure we take as much as we can. But, I mean, you can see it here a little bit. Oh, yeah, you've seen these bounces? I'm not sure exactly what causes it, but yeah, this sort of weird stuff, exactly, right there. You get this bounce when you make, you know, when you touch the walls. Not every time, but like, you know, like as if you're, you know, if you're against a right wall and you're pressing the right arrow to move, you do kind of bounce off of it, and it can get you in some really bad spots, especially if you're in a corner with bullets headed your way. You can kind of bounce into the bullets. And then in the level, you know, I guess that, you know, obviously it's like just make sure you're in a better spot to dodge bullets than against a wall, yeah. But when you're in this sort of level here where you're not really given that opportunity, you kind of confined to like maybe like a little maze of tunnels here, you know, having to worry about not just the bullets, but like not touching the surrounding walls, like you're playing like, you know, Silver Surfer or something, is, you know, a little gripe that I have. You know, I just gotta, you know, you just have to train yourself, you know, I misspoke last video. Speaking about contact damage with enemies, you actually don't take contact damage from enemies, but you might as well take contact damage from the walls. Or at least, that's probably what you should tell yourself, just to give yourself a better time, you know. You don't necessarily take damage from the walls. you just won't like what happens when you do. You know, you'll be bouncing everywhere, and all right, this is what happened last time. We really don't want to. There we go. Yeah, that's exactly what we didn't want to do. So hang back is still, you know, something that we want to consider, but not on the left side of the screen. We kind of want to jump forward on the right. Mini boss here. Certainly not one of the harder ones, as we're now pretty much torn it down to 20% of its life. Probably the most unnecessary special attack that we've made so far. And now we've come across one of the shorter areas of the game that I feel so far. This sort of race area where we're essentially going to be pushed along this stage, you know, caught between these sort of boulders that we need to destroy and these jetpacked enemies. However, I'm finding that there's really no danger. You know, the level design kind of pushes you along anyway. You know, I mean, this is where the bouncing sort of contact with the walls and whatnot kind of help to your advantage, because, you know, they're going to bounce you back into, you know, empty space where you can kind of continue to move on, kind of like we did. We just sort of stumbled through. And the enemies are all weak enough where you can kind of just kill them. And then we just have this sort of final part here. It can certainly get a little congested in here. Bad idea attacking the sort of stem of the plant where we could have just hit the head and called it good. So it's getting really... yeah, really nasty there. I mean, luckily, we didn't take contact damage, but there was just so much shit going on that... there it is, we got bounced off the ceiling right into that wall of bullets. Hoping we can get some more enemies to get some of those health pickups, but... setting up this sort of teleport as well. Yeah. Not the finest plays ever, I would say. Certainly one of our weak points. You know, one of the things in the game that we need to improve on vastly, especially if it's going to appear later on in the game. I think this is the first challenging boss. Although you don't take contact damage from it, it does chase you around and shoot bullet patterns really close to you. You can tell as you destroy a part, the bullets around it do turn into crystals. So that certainly is a strategy to take. However, we're going with a special move just to kind of clear it off as well. Luckily, with all its kind of pieces, for the most part, busted off. You know, we kind of focus on its main core and just finish it off here. And now we've pretty much seen all its... there we go. So we've seen pretty much all its patterns. And although it's certainly not the most perfect thing, you know, at least we're given the opportunity to pick up some health items in the next stage here. The beginning of stage 3, as it would be as well. And I don't know if this is just a difficult stage, or purposely a really long stage, but this one certainly does feel long. I mean, I not the most cinematic of stages either. Although I guess I can't complain too much as the sort of teleporting thing between like small walls. It's not my strongest suit, but yeah, this level is entirely flying. At least to my knowledge, my best memory right now is that it is just kind of all flying. You're getting all these sort of jetpack, or rather these sort of jet bike characters, and you're just blasting them to shit. But it certainly is taking advantage of, you know, this sort of vertical space. Yeah, got a huge amount of enemies. And a big opportunity there to heal up on a lot of pickups. But this is certainly as part of the stage where, you know, it forces you to move up and down a lot, because these enemies do shoot off a ton of bullets that if you do ignore them, you know, your whole area is going to get filled up. So, you know, this enemies like these guys in particular, kind of a bad placement there, kind of being hugged by the enemy and shot. And maybe not the best use of our specials, but you know, especially when you know, we're not necessarily using the abilities provided to pick up more green crystals here, but yeah, really in a precarious position here, kind of hugging the side. Alright, first boss of level 3, Calamity Raven. Just kind of looks like a fat black duckling. Certainly, as these smaller enemies show up, those are the first ones that need to go. As you can tell, each one of them is shooting, and looks like has their own sort of kamikaze attack as well. We are not long for this world, so we're just switching over to the support character. I mean, her health gauge is perfectly fine. Not doing a ton of... There we go. So not doing a ton of damage, but with our other character in support, you know, we do want to kind of line it up as best as we can. I mean, we kind of are in a bad position of like, okay, what do we do now? You know, do we play the rest of this stage with our support character kind of playing defensive? You know, it's, you know, we're pretty well lined up right now with our main character just kind of below our character here. And we got a special, so that's going to help us out quite a lot. Just to kind of kill off some enemies and pick up some of those heart pieces. And there we go. You know, a good amount of health left. Or recovered, rather. Yeah, you can definitely see that. Getting really tight. Really in a bad position. Luckily, both seahorses now are gone, except for the fact that another one of those dragon seahorse bastards have just kind of just kind of picked up. Alright, now we're coming across some larger pirate ships here. I think we're pretty much through the thick of it, to be completely honest. And now it's time to just kind of keep damage minimal. Keep stupid mistakes minimal. Well, as I speak, right? And I was going to say, just kind of keep ourselves healthy for the boss fight that kind of is soon to be upon us. But really can't be trusted to do anything in our own benefit, I guess. Nice pickup of items there. Not in the best position to kind of start shooting down these pirate ships where you're kind of from the bottom, taking damage. Not really in the best place to be taking on the final boss here for this level, but hopefully we can do it without taking too many hits. I don't think we can afford too many, to be honest. They're kind of hovering in our sort of orange health, with not a lot of special attack either. So, you know, there we are. We almost switched to our support unit almost instantly, but we are almost sitting on top of each other. So it's well, I was going to say pretty decent when it comes to dealing damage, but really bad when it comes to what we want to do right here. I mean, this boss really should have our number with as bad as we are at that sort of teleport thing. And luckily, neither our character, well, as I speak again, I was going to say neither our character is too low on health, but just as I speak, you know, we take damage and back down to like sort of that quarter health here. All right, and on to there's stage 3. On to stage 4. The fourth and final question mark? I'm not quite sure. There certainly could be more that happens after. You never know the surprises that happen with when you're trying to 1cc the game. Usually you get extra levels or extra bosses. Who the heck knows? Still very, very blind in this series. With only just a few runs, so you know, as much as I'd like to knock this game out quick, you know, I'm not anticipating it to go down so easily. Yeah, quickly finding out this stage now has enemies that have like that sort of turret effect that are also unkillable. So, you know, certainly if we are looking to survive, we need to get good at the sort of teleporting and also stop bouncing into walls. Yeah, things are getting real nasty here. Using our special to just kind of cross that sort of sea of bullets there. really not the best best option, but. And you can kind of see these sort of gaps. You know, you can kind of gap over this whole thing if you could. Taking damage there for not being in the best position, but you can see how you can make these big sweeping teleportation moves if you had better position, but not really in the cards for us right now. But, you know, at least we're seeing it. We're just not really putting it to practice. We got our main character there just right in front, just doing as much damage as we can. Not making the best dodges in the entire world, but just a few more green crystals so we can get a special attack off. Which nothing else we can kind of fire on as a defensive tactic. There it is. Not enough. Not enough damage. Not enough defense. But hey, we got to the second level, or excuse me, we got to the final level, or what we think is the final level, and the first boss of that final level. So we'll take it for now. But yeah, that's going to be it for this video. Don't forget to subscribe, leave a like, leave a comment, do all that stuff. And we'll come back and play some more Maidens in the future.